Becky. Welcome to my channel. It is a new month. It's March in your time. In my time, it's still February. But 2 months ago, I did a Let's Chat video where I was just sitting on the floor very casually, just kind of talking to you guys about, sometimes it's one topic and maybe it'll be just a variety of topics. Today it's kind of a variety. But just sitting and talking more to you guys, just being more real, more approachable, more authentic, and just sharing more of my real life with you guys. So that's what I did in January. You guys seem to love it. So I did one in February, which I forgot what it was already. How can I have already forgotten? I don't remember. Because in my time, that was like 2 weeks ago. What was it? Oh, why I don't have any friends. So check that video out if you're interested. But I am filming, even though it's February, I am filming this video for March. This is going to be March's Let's Chat video. I'm hoping to do these once a month if you guys like. There's not going to be anything to see. So if you want to do something else while you're listening, like cleaning or whatever you're doing, maybe walking on the treadmill, just whatever. Because it is going to be just me sitting here talking. I'm not going to be showing you anything, but I am talking about a few things that are very relevant in my life right now. Just kind of want to get this off my chest. And so the first thing is, and if you watched that January video, I did talk about how my husband lost his job the week before Christmas. And as I'm filming this, it has officially been 2 months since he's been out of work and he has not yet found a new job. And that is very upsetting. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, like I said, it'll be March, probably the first week of March. I hope and pray that he will have found a job by then. But considering it's already a little bit past mid-February, I don't know. I know things can happen quickly, good and bad. So I'm hoping that he can find the job. Every week I wake up and I pray, like the beginning of the week I wake up and I pray, you know, please let this be the week that changes, that he gets the job. Because he lost his job, we lost our health insurance, he lost the car that he had to drive that his work had given him. Like, it was just a lot. Just a complaint that I want to make here. You know, we live in Kentucky. And he filed for unemployment, you know, the week that he was able to after losing his job. He was eligible for unemployment. And do you know, as of I'm filming this, it is February 16th. He still has not gotten a single dime from unemployment. And granted, it's not enough to live on. I mean, it's a lot less than he usually made, but it's something. He has not gotten a single penny from the Kentucky unemployment insurance department, whatever you want to call it. So finally, I called the governor's office and I was like, because he will check, like he'll check the website and every week it just says, keep applying for jobs, but your check is still, your account is still in fact finding or whatever. And this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, and if you know, he's like 99% of what we make. I make a little bit on YouTube, but not very much. It's very inconsistent and it's certainly not enough to live off of. It's not even enough to pay our house payment. So you know, what I make is not gonna make a huge difference. So I'm like, what are they doing? So I called the governor's office and the lady was very nice, but she said that basically, this is according to her story, I don't know how true this is, but they don't have enough people that work for the unemployment department to process all of the unemployment claims that they get. So they are still, when I talked to her, she said they're still currently processing September and October's unemployment claims. So you mean to tell me that they're 2 or 3 months behind on processing claims? That's not even what this video is about, technically. I just wanted to get that off my chest. If I seem bitter and enraged, it's kind of because I am. So anyway, but because of him losing his job and losing the car that he's had a company car for probably, I don't know, 10, 12 years or so that we've not had a car payment, at least for him, where we were able to get that car and not have to pay for it. And so now that we're down to one car, and that's kind of what I wanted to start off this video was talking about, like checking my privilege. And I don't like to say that because that can have some negative political connotations to it. And I don't mean my privilege as far as like my demographic status. I mean, basically checking my heart as far as gratitude and being aware of the blessings that I have. And I've always considered myself a very grateful, most of the time optimistic person. I mean, I have my moments, you know, just like everybody, but I naturally am grateful, I think, for a lot. As far as like vocalizing that or praying that to God, like I feel like I'm very aware of a lot of the blessings that we have. And I'm as intentional as I can be also to look for blessings that I may not notice, that I just take for granted. But this has really shown a light on that for me, because like most privileged people in the West, you know, we're more blessed than anywhere else in the world. And then in my own little world here, you know, I realized that we've been very blessed too. We've definitely had some very hard times. You know, he's been in the car business now for almost 18 years. And so the car business is very volatile. It's very economic based. So when the economy is good, you know, the car business is usually good. But when the economy is bad, it's usually very bad. And we've definitely had a little bit of both of those, you know, different scenarios over the years. So it's very, you know, up and down. But overall, we've been very blessed. I've been able to be a stay-at-home mom since the month before my oldest daughter was born, and she's almost 21. I've been able to homeschool the girls. I've been very blessed in a lot of ways. And being able to be a stay-at-home mom and then a homeschool mom on top of that was not even something I thought I was gonna ever be able to do. I'm glad, because I did not ever really have any lofty career goals. I've never just been that person that was like, I just really wanna be this or that. Like, I didn't really have any clear direction. And no like motivation to be anything in particular. So it worked out for me, because what I did want to do was be, you know, home with my kids. And I do like to create in some ways. And so YouTube has very much kind of come from that. But as far as like wanting to go out and be like a teacher or a doctor or a manager of a company or work at a store, like I didn't really have any particular inclinations to want to do any of those things. So I've been very blessed in particular to be able to stay home with the girls, make my career, if you want to call it that, as a YouTuber, and spend the quality of time that I've had with my girls. Being able to be active and involved and with them more than I would have been able to if I had gone outside the house and worked. And you know, his job has very much been, over the years, enabled me to do that, even though we have had some low times. So all that to say, always having 2 cars. We've always had 2 cars. Even before he got a demo from work and we were paying, you know, for his car. We've always had 2 cars. And having 1 car has really been eye-opening to me of how annoying it can be to have to share a car. I mean, and this is not even him going out to a job and me having to share a car with him. Like, that would be even worse. And it's one of those little annoyances that once it happens to you, you're like, man, I should have noticed and been more aware of the fact that having 2 cars, 2 working cars, was a huge blessing. And honestly, I don't know that I stopped to appreciate that enough as I should have. And that's just in the category of a car. So I think about all the things in my life that I'm so used to having that I don't even realize. I don't even stop to think about how grateful I should be for this thing or that thing, because I've never had to go without it and I've never known any differently. And that is where I'm saying, like, from the position of kind of calling that a privilege, if you will. Best case scenario, we'll call it just being naive and blessed enough to not know and realize that there are people and things and situations that I have had my whole life, so much so that when I don't have those things, even if it's something as mundane as a car, I realize how blessed we really were to have 2 cars, much less one that was paid for us. So that's just kind of where I'm coming at from this perspective of just like where my mind has been lately about how many more things there are beneath the surface. You know, here I am trying to be intentional and trying to thank God for my blessings and trying to see the things that I have to be blessed about and thankful for. Who knows how many other things are lurking beneath the surface that I'm not even acknowledging, because I don't stop to realize that even that in itself is a blessing. But you know, try to think outside that box. Try to think outside your blessings and your privilege of, you know, things that maybe you've come so used to having that you don't even realize that in itself is a blessing. That's just kind of where my head's at right now. Trying to use that to help me and let this situation maybe help me see more of what I should have been seeing all along, that I think a lot of us, probably all of us, take for granted in different degrees and different forms. But I think that's kind of where I'm coming at. That's where this is coming from, basically, was not having 2 cars really kind of spurred this on in my mind of like, how many of the things that every day am I utilizing or experiencing that I'm not even stopping to realize in itself is a blessing that is not promised or guaranteed to me, but that I have. So just encourage you guys maybe think that way too. Maybe start keeping a gratitude journal or writing it down somewhere or putting it in your phone or, you know, just something like that. The second thing, again, stemming from not having any income right now. You know, I'm very goal driven. I'm very task oriented. I really like to plan projects and like knock stuff off this list, you know, and every year I make a list of, I don't really even call it resolutions, but I'll make a list into a bunch of different categories of things that we need to do, things that I want to do either personally or as a family. A lot of those things are home projects, you know, because I mean, you own a home, you've got a lot of things. Something's always breaking, something always needs to be replaced, you know, whatever. And I get a lot of satisfaction out of planning and prioritizing those things to do each year. And then I get a lot of satisfaction out of them actually being done and being able to look at the end result and think, you know, this looks nice. We're taking care of our home. We're providing the best house we can for our kids, you know, whatever. And I can't really do that. I mean, I've got the list of things that we need to do and a list of things that we want to do, but it's a very awkward spot for me to be in because here it is in your world, it's March. My world is mid-February and I'm like, I can't really plan any of these projects because I don't know when we're going to have enough discretionary income to be able to prioritize doing this or that, you know. And for somebody who is very motivated and inspired by goals and checking those off the list, it's very hard for me. It's been a very stagnant, like frustrating experience for me because I do find a lot of fulfillment in setting goals and planning projects and getting them done. And when I can't do that, I feel very like, well, what am I doing? What do I do? Because we, you know, have no income right now. We have like our bathtub is cracked and it's been cracked for years. And a couple years ago, we sealed it, trying to like limp it along, but we really don't want that to leak because it's upstairs and like so anyway, like that's the first project we need to work on is getting the bathtub replaced. And we can't even really plan that because I don't know what is going to happen, you know, money wise. And so that's frustrating. And other things, there's big things or small things that really need to do, I want to do. So right now we have had to prioritize several things. First of all, of course, is food, shelter, and tithing. Obviously those are the things we've prioritized the most. And if it gets down to it, I guess if something is not in those categories, we may have to cut it. So it could be, I mean, there are certain things we can't really cut because you're like in contract for things, but I don't know, you know, getting rid of streaming services that we have, or maybe canceling our gym membership. Like, I don't know. I don't know yet how far down this path we're going to have to go where we have to do those things, but priority has been food, shelter, tithing. And then, you know, kind of secondary to that is trying to keep the girls' lives as close to what they're used to as we can, just to minimize stress on them. Now, obviously they know he lost his job. They know that they've probably noticed that we're doing less, or we've said not right now a little bit more often, like, you know, used to whenever either one of them wanted to go do something, we would just go do it, you know, an activity or whatever. And now these days we're being a little bit more thoughtful about like, well, let's go on this day versus that day, or let's wait until your birthday, you know, because both girls have birthdays right after Christmas. Just stuff like that we're trying to still do what they want to do and keep life as consistent for them as possible, while also being realistic about, you know, we just can't do some of the things that we used to would have been able to do. So luckily, Christmas gifts were bought before he lost his job. That wasn't an issue. I think even some birthday presents were bought before then. And then I'm pretty thrifty, so I shop all year long. I shop sales. I save reward points from all the different reward programs that I use. So I've got some of those things. We have, you know, a Costco city card, so we save those points and cash those out every year. And so we've got some of that coming. So like I was able to, gift-wise, they didn't really feel any effect for Christmas or their birthdays or really even Easter, because I definitely have been very smart about like shopping when and where and like how I was budgeting for those things. So, and you will see that, I think it's already been up, the girls' birthday / Christmas video. I did kind of a combo video since I didn't do the dedicated Christmas gift videos that I usually do. I just posted a couple weeks ago, I think, a selection of things that we got them for Christmas or for their birthdays that I think you guys would be interested in. So check that out if you haven't already. It should be linked. I'll try to remember to link it. But that's been good that I was, you know, able to utilize my smart, savvy shopping skills, say that 3 times fast, to get them good things for Christmas, birthdays, and Easter. But I do very much feel like life is kind of on hold right now, and I don't want to think that way, because you don't want to feel like that unless you have money that you can't have a life. Like, I don't want that mentality. But there are a lot of, I mean, things cost money. It's been a very like humbling process for me of like, well, I can't plan this, I can't do that, I can't do my natural thing of like heading on into the year like full charge of like what we're gonna do first, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna buy the new bathtub, and then we're gonna get new flooring while we're doing that, because the flooring needs to be replaced too, probably, you know, just stuff like that that I can't do. It's very against what I'm used to. And so it's been kind of a challenge for me. And I'm just being honest. I mean, you might say, well, you're just so spoiled, and this, you know, I've lived like that my whole life. And I understand that. I get that that's what it sounds like. I'm just being honest with you guys. And I think a lot of us would have the same experience and have a lot of the same feelings that I'm having. Not just the fact that there is no income, but not knowing when that's going to change and how it's going to change. Like, that's really the, you know, because we can do this for a while, but we can't do it forever without something significant having to change. You know, does that mean that I need to go get a job? Does he need to get 2 jobs to make up for what he made for the one that he had before? Like, is he gonna have to get a job maybe farther away and maybe commute a little bit to be able to get something? Like, I don't know. To me, it has been very eye-opening and a learning experience against what I am normally able to do. When I can't do that, it does frustrate me. And I do feel like life is kind of on hold as far as planning what we do, fun stuff and stuff we need to do. So anyway, I was trying to get through the first part quickly because I did want to talk about more than one topic, but I don't think I successfully mastered that at all. Long story, I feel like I've never gone to the gym. I've never worked out in public. I got an F in gym class in high school because I didn't want to participate and get sweaty and look stupid and spastic in front of people. And so to go to the gym at all is a wonder of all wonders. But anyway, there's a girl that works the gym, and she has like a body scan machine where you can like, they basically scan you. You know, you stand on these little electrode thingies, and I know some of the at-home scales do the same thing, but this one's a lot more elaborate because it tells you a lot more information, a lot more metrics about your body fat percentage, how much of your body is water, how much of it is bone, you know, lean mass, blah, 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 blah. So I have my results, and I did this back in January. So I am hoping that she'll do it for me again in July. Will be 6 months, because I've been, you know, I don't know how much you guys know about me, but back in 2013 I started my weight loss journey. I had lost 35 pounds back then, and then since then I pretty much kept it off. I mean, I'm up and down a little bit. I don't know how much of it is, if any of it's fat or if any of it's muscle, I'm not really sure. But that was before I ever did a single strength workout. Like, that was just running, basically just cardio, all the stuff that they say not to do now to lose weight. That's what I did. And so it worked. I mean, it did work. I had like no muscle tone at all, and you know, just whatever. So over time, I have been trying to work on gaining muscle while also trying to lose fat. And that's, I think, the ever evolving thing with women, especially as you get older. You know, I'm 44, I'll be 45 in June. So I know that's a battle that I'm gonna have to keep fighting, because your metabolism slows down, you lose muscle mass, you lose, you know, all that stuff that happens to you as you age. It's definitely within the range of a healthy body fat percentage, but you know, I do think I could get it a little lower, especially if I increase my muscle mass. I feel like I could probably get it a little lower. And I know, I've known the whole time that I could be even more fit than I am. As much as I work out, I could be a lot more fit. I do want to also enjoy my life, and I do enjoy foods and things that, if you were like dedicated hardcore about, you know, getting your body to its ultimate supreme status, then I could cut out a lot of things. Just off the top of my head, I know of a couple of things I could cut out immediately. That would probably make a difference over time. But I haven't done that because I do want to also live my life. And I'm playing around with that a little bit in my head, of still enjoying the things that I want to enjoy. What could I change? What could I tweak maybe? You know, so I'm thinking around about that. Thinking about definitely trying to incorporate more protein, just eating more protein to stay fuller. So maybe I don't snack as often. A lot of times I'll get hungry in the middle of the night, and sometimes I'll go downstairs and, you know, have a little bowl of cereal or something, which I know is not good to do, especially at night, and then lay down basically immediately after that. You know, stay tuned. We're gonna see what happens if she'll do it again in July for me, because she didn't charge me for it. I think it's something they do normally charge for, but she didn't charge me, and so hopefully I have a note in my calendar in July after I'm officially 45 years old. Will she scan me again, and we'll cross that bridge then and see if I was able to increase my muscle mass. Let's see how much my muscle mass is. I hope I'm reading this right, because it looks like my muscle mass, it says skeletal muscle mass, 51.1 pounds. So you guys let me know. That's the number I'm assuming I need to look at to see like how much of my weight is muscle. So 51.1. I do carry a lot of weight in my hips and thighs and my C-section pooch, which is kind of the subject of the next topic I want to talk about. And I've had 2 C-sections and a myomectomy, which is basically a C-section without the baby. They cut you open again in the exact same spot that I had my C-section scar. So if you've had C-sections, especially, you know, how your body heals and where we tend to hold fat anyway as women, and then how your body heals, the scar tissue, the fat that gets trapped kind of in that area, that's definitely my least favorite part of myself. And I do probably have a good couple pounds there that I don't know how much of it would actually realistically come off. I mean, I don't know how low I could healthily and realistically get my body fat percentage to make that area smaller. Because even when I was heavier, it's not a whole lot smaller than it was when I was 30 pounds heavier. So I'm like, what do I do? I don't know. So I'm asking you guys, and we're talking about this, and I am just throwing this out there, and I'm not saying I'm going to do it. Even if I could afford it, I don't know if I could do it, because I don't know what I feel about it. I thought about last year, especially, I did actually meet with a plastic surgeon to talk about getting a tummy tuck, because, you know, this is not the result of me wanting to shortcut my way to weight loss. This is not me wanting to shortcut my way to looking better the way I want to look to myself when I look in the mirror. I'm not trying to like diet pill, fad diet. You know, this is not me trying to bypass the system and the process that it takes to gain muscle, lose weight, be healthy, be consistent. I have done all those things, and I have been consistent now since 2013 of working out and trying to always challenge myself and trying to improve and grow and all of these things. I mean, it has been a huge journey, and it's something I am proud of. Being consistent now for 12 years, I think that's an accomplishment. So, you know, that is something I'm proud of, and I have worked over the course of those 12 years 100% just naturally. Being consistent, being disciplined, trying to be realistic, enjoy life as well, you know, trying to balance what I should do with what I also want to enjoy, you know. I mean, just so many things that go into being on a workout and a health journey for that long. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs, there's a lot of things that have to change, there's a lot of things that need to be consistent and stay the same. And I've done those things. So this is not me basically being like, well, I want to lose weight quickly. I don't really want to put in the effort or the time or the sweat. I just want you to cut this off. Just take it away. And if that's what you want to do and that is your mindset, then that's, you know, the way that you chose to go. In my mind, though, I feel like that's not me. You know, I'm not the type person who typically wants just a quick fix. I don't mind to do the work. Obviously, you know, I've put the work in, I feel like, but you know, there are certain things that the work won't 100% or even a fraction of a percent fix. And so then you have to decide, you know, is it something that I want to be surgically fixing? And the answer to that is, I don't know. I did some research at the time. I met with a plastic surgeon. We talked about, you know, the recovery period and really what, other than the money, honestly, and obviously right now I can't afford that anyway. So this is just a pipe dream at this point. But even if I could afford it like tomorrow, even if he would do it for free tomorrow, the question is not even so much the money as it is, do I want the risk? Do I want to be put to sleep? You know, I don't like to be put to sleep. I always, whenever I've had surgeries before, I always ask them, like, do you have to put me to sleep? Can I please stay awake? You know, I don't like to be put to sleep. A lot of people are like, knock me out. I'm like, no, wake me up. Like, I want to be awake. I want to know what's going on. I'm always afraid that if you put me to sleep, I'm not going to wake up. And then you do have, you know, the potential risks because it is surgery, major surgeries. You have the risk of the surgery, and then you have the recovery process, which not only would incapacitate me as far as like taking care of my house, but it would also be a long time that I would be not able to work out to the level that I am now. I know I would get there again eventually, but I don't know if I want to sit out that long and let myself get demotivated that long. That's kind of where I am with that. If that makes you think less of me, then I'm sorry. I wish it didn't, but I mean, this is just realistically my thoughts and my feelings and kind of what I'm mulling over in my head. And when he gets a job, and hopefully if things are better again, and we're blessed enough for him to have a job where we do have, you know, a decent amount of discretionary income, then what will I do? So that's the tummy tuck situation. There is the stigma, I think, of people saying like, well, you're shallow, you're going against God's plan, you're messing with nature. And I see why they can say that, because a lot of the people that do those types of things are the ones that we see in the public eye, where they're so overdone and where they're basically a literal slave to all these procedures. I think that's what we tend to think of when we think about getting things done. And I like I said, I feel the same way to some degree. You know, a lot of people don't just get implants, they get implants. Or they don't just get, you know, one thing done. They get it and they're so far back and their mouth is like, you know, like that's a lot of times what we think about what I think about when I think about learning that somebody has had plastic surgery, if you don't already know. So I'm toying around with that in my head. You know, again, this is one of those things that without income, I can't even think about, like make a solid decision or plan when I might do something like that. You know, so it's just something I'm kind of thinking of. And I'm afraid to ask for your guys' input because I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I don't want you to think I'm saying that people who get stuff done are bad people. And I don't want you to think that if you're aging naturally or you have, you know, a little bit of excess body fat from whatever, that you should go get it taken off. This is very much a personal journey that you have to be on. It's a personal decision you have to make, and you have to be able to justify your own decisions to yourself before anybody else. But I am curious if any of you guys have had work done, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it, you know, something non-invasive like a microneedling or a laser, whether you talk about like maybe you had your stomach fixed after having babies, maybe you had a breast lift after breastfeeding, you know. If you had any of that stuff done, definitely weigh in on it if you want to, no pun intended. But I would like to hear your thoughts and experiences, respectfully, please. Hopefully no judgment on me for even considering these things. You know, I'm a woman too. I have insecurities too. Aging is hard. It is very hard, and I'm not even to the point yet where it's going to be even harder. And so I do feel like there's a balance to be had with aging. You know, age gracefully and do what you can non-invasively. But then again, at the end of the day, if there are things that you can do to maybe make things better without like completely disfiguring yourself or becoming a slave to looking young or looking a certain way, I think that's okay too. So this is just basically a place to talk about it. I'm not going to judge whatever you say. Please don't judge whatever I say. The point of these videos is just to like chat like friends and talk to each other and share information and like, what would you tell me if I was your real life friend? You know, what would you want me to know? And you know, I can talk to you back that way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was really long and I'm sorry, and I was hoping it would be shorter, but if you like these Let's Chat videos, let me know in the comments. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't seen the last two that I've done so far, January and February, then I'll link those for you. You can catch up. It's just fun to listen sometimes to somebody talk and kind of what's going on in their life, what's going on in their head. That's kind of what I did today, just kind of talking with whatever I wanted you guys to know and kind of share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.